Peace, y'all. It's now Wednesday, April 10th. A couple of days after the of re-entry after our test day weekend up at Grattan. Just posted up the video of finding the first video from the Grattan weekend. We were putting the cones out on the track. Remarkable. Was looking for the camera as I was setting the cones out, making my way end of the straightaway. Looked through the grass on the way out to the end of the straightaway, did the end of the straightaway, looked through the grass, looked through the gravel trap, heading up the hill to turn 2, got about halfway to turn 2, went back, got the car, down around turn 2, did the cones backwards through turn 2, and then was going out to look through the grass before I moved down to turn 3. Figured I'd do the cones and do the looking for the camera at the same time before folks started to show up and want to get in, even though I told them they couldn't get in until 5, simply because I wanted to have time, 1, to get the cones down, and 2, to look for my camera. And as I just headed down that downgrade out to that big area, thinking if Joe was coming to turn 2 and the camera fell off, you're moving. I'm sure, I think your 4th gear there, you got to be doing 75, 80 at least. That these cameras would like a ricocheting boulder would take off. But there it was. Chuck said, "Hey, is it black?" I said, "Yeah, it's black. Why?" "I think it's right here." And I walked up there, and sure as anything, the devastating bad part about it is this is the case. It was face down, which means the door on the back that I put on for sound. This was a black case, a blacked out case, had a solid black door. I put an open door on it, so you can hear the engine sound, right? Where you really don't have a lot of sound when this is completely closed off. Had I left it in the waterproof type form, even finding it 5 months later after winter, it would have been okay. Had it been this way, I still think it would have been okay. The water wouldn't have got into the lens of the camera. The camera itself, as you can see, I'll show you inside here. There's quite a bit of gray grunkus and green looking stuff in there from it sitting. It was on the camera as well, the housing of the camera. Just this one here, you can see. I kind of cleaned it up a bit. This had the green grunkusy, slimy, grimy stuff all over it. I'll bring you in and show you what I've done here. Got it home. Tried to charge it at the track, which I'm still doing here on the other cam. The one that the button wouldn't work anymore. The one that I put the nick in the lens, remember? When I bought these 2 cameras, I bought them as a package, and they were super cheap. I don't think I paid 20 bucks a piece for them. But I bought them because the old camera I used to use had a nick in the lens, remember? And go back and look at them videos. I wet sanded the lens and buffed it out trying to remove that little nick because it would cause a halo and a gray area. It would be an area in the lens where it almost looked like it was just out of focus, or there was a piece of bug guts on the lens or something. So got these 2, and first thing I did out in the garage was I dropped this and scratched that and put a nick in that lens. So here we are trying to charge the botched battery that was in this unit that we lost. We took the cover off when we got home. Sean Swiss had removed the little locking collar here, the little collar that goes on. It comes off. So you can get in and change the lens, but there's a couple different ways to do this, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. This camera still works perfectly, still records. You can't see anything because if you look right in there, the very, very center of the lens, not the white part that used to be black that has broke loose from the water, I really don't think that has anything to do with anything with the actual video. It's the very center. Looks like, because it was laying this way, it got like a little puddle of water in the inside of that little lens, and then it dried up. And now it's a dried up old dirty water spot, for lack of a better way to explain it to you. So that lens needs to be replaced. and they're replaceable. It's cheap enough. The rest of the camera still works, records and everything. The sound is a little lower. The level's a little low, but it goes through all the modes and functions. Everything's cool there. So I got pretty bold and decided, you see, this is the number 3 on this one is black. So I call this one the black. This one would be the silver or white, because the numeral on this one is white, as you can see. I think you can see that. That's this camera here. The button stopped working. I couldn't get that thing to turn on for nothing, folks. I pushing real hard, rocking it back and forth, you know. Eventually, every now and again, you'd be able to get it to turn on. You could shoot a video and then it wouldn't shut off. So you could shut the capturing of the video part off, but the power wouldn't shut off, and I'd have to yank the battery in the back. After a while, it just wouldn't turn on anymore. So I figured, with the lens scratched and the button not working, what do I got to lose? I'll pop the top off, just like I did on the Lost camera. The problem is, the LED screen was glued, still attached to the back side of this cover, and if I had any experience with these things, I'd have known to hold the LED down while I was loosening the cover. And what happened is a piece of, I call it flexible, this flexible circuit paper, whatever it is, connects to the LED screen here. It just ripped right off. So this camera also still records and still works even without the LED. So you can't see what it's doing. You can't see the time like this one here, where the time is running, duration of the video. You can't tell what mode it's in, but you do know when you shut these GoPro cameras off and you turn the power back on, they default to video mode. So what I'm trying to do here is unsuccessfully trying to charge this botched battery. This light should just be solid red. The fact that it's blinking and blinking erratically tells me that this is some kind of warning sign that it's no good. At the racetrack, Saturday morning, I actually plugged it in and the light came on solid like it was charging. And I actually pushed a button on this camera, on the Lost cam, and got the mode to turn on, but it said no SD. I didn't have a card in it. But I got it to come on, and I could cycle through the modes and everything. So I thought, wow, hey, maybe if we get it home and we like I said, put it in a bag of rice, maybe we can get the lens to clear up, but that's not the case. So went ahead and popped this one apart, trying to find out if maybe there's some way to just fix this button, and of course botched up the LED screen. Found out why the switch wasn't working, because there's this copper ring on the inside. It goes on top of here and under the back side of this cover. That it just wasn't playing along. So let me bring you down here and show you what I've got going on. I started doing a little shopping and a little research. This guy here is, his place is called Rage Cams. He's actually in Sparta, Michigan, which is, actually his actual location is Saranac, Michigan. It's not far from the racetrack, folks. Look it up. Pull up Grattan Township on the map or something, and he's straight north of Grand Rapids, where Grattan is north and east of Grand Rapids. So it's not far away from the track. I end up sending him a note through this eBay post here or for sale ad, and he sent me something back with a phone number. I called him this morning and talked to him. We can replace this lens for $35 a piece, plus get the LED thing back working on here, $100. I can't buy another camera I suppose you could, but if you buy something from somebody, you don't know what you're getting. This guy repairs these cameras, and obviously he's going to back up his work, because he doesn't want me giving him bad mojo on the face page. It says here, we also offer lens change service if you want us to install it. So they do the work. They can install lenses and parts and pieces for you. What else I could do, and I could do this stuff myself, actually, right? So if we wanted to fix this one here, we want to get this LED back on with a new button and replace that lens, we can come over here and we can buy, oh no, that's the wrong one, it's this one. You buy the whole board, right? You buy the whole board, and it's got the lens already on it, the button already on it, literally 4 screws, and it looks like a spot of glue here. You probably got to be careful to get up between the different boards and separate that stuff, but it can be done. $15, right? Or best offer. So $15 would fix this thing up, right? Then we can just get a lens for the other camera, just because this all it needs is just a lens, right? And we can get it $8.86, but guess what? It comes from China, and we're not talking China Township, Michigan. We're talking China that Trump talks about, right? China. And the Rage camera guy that does the work told me these are not the same. I said, the battery pack actually says China right on it. Look at it, folks. I don't know if you can see that. Here it says, bigger than life, made in China. So, and it's a GoPro piece. So I've got a couple options, and so this would be $10 and would take forever to get here. It says April 23rd to May 2nd. Would take a while, but we'd have it before we go back out again. And I could continue to disassemble the camera and just replace this piece and get this one up and running for $10, right? And then this one here for another 15 or 20 bucks. So we'll say $30. But what if I get in there and I botch things up even more? Like I did ripping the LED loose from the rest of the camera because I wasn't aware of the glue in here, right? So what's your alternative? I could send these cameras, box them up. I got the address right here. Rage Cams, 2780 Hawley Highway, Saranac, Michigan, with the zip code. Talked to him this morning. Could throw $120 in the box down below, pack these things up, and in a couple of weeks they'd come back guaranteed to work, right? Sometimes doing everything in-house isn't the ideal way to go. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Glenda's right. She knows. She's saying, you're right, Robert. You're right. Sometimes it's just better to pay the experts, right? You guys are dealing with rebuilding your bathroom with the plumbing and electrical and stuff like that. And I don't know, you're pulling permits or whatever you're doing, but that's what we do. Sometimes we have to just leave it to the experts. So that's Richard calling on his lunch break. I'm going to get with him. Godspeed. God bless y'all. I'm working on. I'm going to show you the clip that was on the 64 gig card that I showed you that came out of the lost camera. The video that was on it before Joe drove the cart and the mount gave way was still good. So I'm going to put that up right after I put this one up. Hang in there, y'all. I'm praying for you. Pray for me too. We found the camera, right? Right off the bat, that weekend was getting better. Hang in there. We're going to do some shopping, and we're going to find somebody to fix this stuff for us. It'll get better.